Good morning, everyone. Hello. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Hi, this is Manisha. Manisha Kirti. I work in IGBC as Associate Counselor, and myself and Lubna are taking care of the Green Your School program, along with Zoya from United Way Delhi. So we extend our warm welcome to all of you who are participating, or to all the schools who are participating in this Pan India program, which is conducted under Green Building Congress by IGBC every year. And this is the 18th edition of Indian Green Building, 18th edition of IGBC Green Your School program. So let's welcome Ms. Hina Siddiq from Bombay Scottish School, who won the Green Your School program, in the competition in 2022. Ms. Hina.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Miss.
Yeah, Hina, we are able to hear you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Do you want me to begin, Miss Manisha?
Yes, yes. You please
I'll start with my presentation.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you want me to share the screen or will you be sharing?
Mostly I'll be sharing.
Okay.
I hope it's visible.
Yes, it's visible. Please keep in presentation.
Yeah, thank you. So good morning, children. If there are teachers, good morning, teachers. I am Miss Hina Siddiqui from Bombay Scottish School in Mumbai, which is in Maharashtra. It's exciting that IGBC has announced their Green Your School program this year, because me and my students had a wonderful learning experience when we participated in the year 2022. At that time, almost 540 schools had participated, and from that huge number, my school, that is Bombay Scottish Powai, was one among the 7 schools who had won a generous grant money that we later on used to make our school green, and for which we are extremely thankful to the IGBC team and organization alike. Now, this is just a 1 hour session, but the preparation that went on our end to be a part of the winning team was enormous. We were supposed to put up 10 ideas that we would adopt to make our school greener in order to win the grant. And that called for a lot of preparation from our side. To put up these 10 ideas together, we had to pull in the resources of all the grade 8 and grade 9 students. They were given a platform to put up their ideas on paper. And after going through each of these ideas, me and some of my other colleagues helped me pick up 10 best ideas. How we went about it is what I'll be trying to tell you today through this presentation of mine. So let's have a look at it, everyone. So let me walk you through this entire presentation that we had eventually submitted to IGBC, because of which we were able to win the grant. Now, primarily, what we did is we gave a small introduction of our school that you can see on the left hand of the screen. We informed the judges through this single slide where our school is located, when was it established, what is the strength of the student population, and very importantly, we also gave them an idea about how big or small our school is. Now, we are based in Mumbai, which is a metropolitan city, so we do not have enough space, and we wanted this to be an advantage for us. Whether you have less space or more space, in either case, the judges should feel that what you have is an advantage. And
Yes, the Ranga disturbs.
if I may continue. Yes.
Yes,
So,
you please continue.
yes, thank you, Ms. Manisha. So we tried to inform the judges through our presentation that though we had little space, we were doing the most we could and we would benefit a lot with the help of the grant money. But to begin with, we had to tell them, now when I say we, here I mean me, the teacher, the coordinator, and my 3 students who were the participating people. So we had to first tell them that why do we need these 10 ideas? So we had to emphasize that why caring for the environment is essential. And we tried to emphasize that through this short video that I'll be playing in a while. And that video is so scary and effective that everyone who watches it will try to understand how we need to care for our environment and do the little bit that we all are supposed to do. I'll be just showing a small clip of this video. Let's have a look at it. So that was a small video, a small part of the video that we had used to introduce ourselves, that why we need to adopt these 10 ways of making our school green at our level, so that at the bigger level, at global level, we are able to do the most and save anything, any drastic calamity in the future. That was the whole idea. So when you begin with a video, it's very impactful and it sort of brings everyone together to understand what we are aiming at. We also try to let the judges know that what are the current green spaces that we have in our school. So we have used this presentation, a few pictures of our school building and the resources that we have at hand. Then, as I said, we were supposed to give them 10 initiatives that the school will take up. Now look at the 10 initiatives that are listed on your screen. When you read them one by one, you're not able to know what they are about, but they have a very catchy inspiration to them. So when you name an activity, it should be very catchy so that you can grab attention that way. For example, physical kineticity. For that, you really need to know what it is about. So let's see what it is about. So initially, I would advise that you list all your activities just to give a glance and then explain them in detail a little later. For example, for every activity that we were planning, we had devoted 2 slides. One was the name of the activity, one was the name of the practice, and then second was the detail. Now, the detail implementation plan should be such that the judges are able to understand how viable it is, how doable it is. For example, here we thought that we could bring some bicycles and we would let our children ride them during their PE classes or during their any other extracurricular activities, or if they were generally interested. Convert the kinetic energy of these bicycles into electricity and try to use that electricity in the school. Now, when you are putting up an idea, it is very important that you list everything in as much detail as it could allow you to, with, pay attention, the cost involved and how you would implement it. So if you look at this slide of that is being in front of you, you can see that we have also included the cost that could be utilized in bringing about this change. Moving on, the next activity. You name the next activity, example, multi-level gardening, and then you give away the steps in which you can implement this activity, along with the cost. Even the cost of implementation has to be introduced because the grant money should be in accordance with that. You cannot under budget, you cannot over budget, and you cannot just give away any price. It's important to know as close as possible the actual price of things that you are putting up into your presentation. Then once again, sink in. When I say sink in, probably you will not get an idea, but it sounds really nice. Now, what we do in sink in is we install these special sinks, which would help the students to save water in the washrooms. Now, washrooms are sort of the most visited places in all the schools. So saving water over there could be really worthwhile. Once again, we have given away the cost of installation. For example, if we want to install 6 units, then we have given the cost of 1 unit, which later on gets changed to the cost of 7 units. So giving away cost is very essential. Moving on to another very cost-effective practice that we follow in our school, that is a no packed food day. Nowadays, especially because we are a metropolitan school, our students tend to bring packed food to school. So we had a session where we told the children that they will be bringing only food which is in their tiffin box, not packed food. And that particular day, when we have this no packed food day, even our canteen serves food, not packed food, but directly from their containers into the tiffin boxes of students. So that on that particular, on particular day, there is minimum litter in our school. Moving on, we had proposed an idea about converting carbon dioxide into calcium carbonate and using that calcium carbonate to use the most important resource a teacher uses in school. And yes, that is the chalk. So converting atmospheric carbon dioxide into calcium carbonate was one of the suggestions that we had made. It was a little expensive to do, but once again, we had put up the cost and we had implemented, we have given out the need and impact of the same. The cost was really high for this thing. Then look at this P2P, paper recycling. Now, recycling of paper, you must have heard it so many times. But when you say P2P, our school does the initiative P2P. It sounds so much fun and interesting. So a simple word such as a recycling initiative changes into a P2P, that is paper to paper. Now, what is this paper to paper? So what we did was we actually took the used paper and recycled it and made new paper out of it. And that new paper was actually used by students to in their science classes, especially in their biology classes, to draw the diagrams of different parts of organs and everything that was necessary. Over here, what we were trying to say is that school is a place where a lot of paper is produced as a byproduct of an entire year's schoolwork. Instead of just disposing it or giving it out as a waste, we could recycle it and try to make new paper, new usable paper out of it. We were successful in that. In fact, this initiative of ours also won us a prize at an inter-school competition. So that was really interesting. Now, what you can see on the screen is a video of the same, but because it's a very long video of how it is done, I will be skipping that for now and moving ahead to our next activity, to our next suggestion. Then, the next initiative that we had planned to participate in was dividing to conquer. Now, again, it sounds like there is some historical war going on over here, dividing to conquer. But here, what we were doing was we were segregating our waste. We were dividing our waste into different slots so that they could be used ahead in a different way. For example, our e-waste, our old chargers, our old earphones, old gadgets that we do not do. We still practice this very strongly in our school, where every year we'll have specific days when our children will bring the e-waste and we will be giving it out to proper disposable managements. Converting our other waste into something productive is also what we are trying to look into. We have segregation of waste material, dry, wet. We sensitize our children continuously on this. So this initiative is very simple, but it's very impactful. You can make your presentations colorful so that once again, they are able to say what they wish to say as well as be effective in their communication. Now, we are the ones who live on this planet Earth that we have inherited from our parents, but we have to pass it on to our next generation also. So we need to keep it in good condition. So making the next generation aware about it and involving everyone around us is an important community initiative that we as a school have tried to take it in the past and probably will be able to do it in the future. So what we do is our students participate in these community cleaning drives. When we were, as you can see on the screen, during 2022, there is a mention of a place and a venue where actually our children had gone to clean the particular place. So our school students participate in these activities, and we had made a mention of that. Now, these activities are comparatively cost effective because all the most of the resources that we need over here include things like transport and providing water and caps and gloves and garbage bags to the children. So that is the reason why, since it's not very expensive, we had not written the cost over here. But it's always smart to write the cost of things wherever possible. Then, a healthy mind is able to think best. So one of the requirement of IGBC in 2022 was mental and physical health also. Now you might find it little different that what has environment got to do with mental and physical health, but it was a requirement that time. So this was one of the points that we had to mention, that we need to be mentally fit to understand the need of our environment and to have the right practices. So whether it's physical health that we can, enhance by converting our kinetic energy on a bicycle into electrical energy, or having enough mental understanding and stability to care for our environment. And finally, we have the last thing, that is the resource management. Interesting, and one of my favorite projects. That was, as I said, one very common thing in every school is we produce a lot of paper waste by the end of the year. Typically, students write in their notebooks, and when the year is over, a lot many unused pages and books remain. So one of the suggestions we had given was we will use these papers and convert them into usable books for the next academic year. And if you can see, we have even given the cost of a binding machine, that when the cost is known to us, we can imagine how much of unused paper could be collected and at what cost could it be converted into new notebooks. These new notebooks can be used by us, or they can be donated, or whatever seems appropriate to the school authorities, that can be done. In a nutshell, these were the 10 ideas that we tried to put up in the best possible way, and I'm sure it worked for us, because we, as I said before, we were one among the 7 winners. So all the aspirants this year, all the best to you. What you should remember is you are communicating with the judges through your presentation. Your ideas are definitely going to be amazing, but how you put them forth, how you put them forward, how you communicate to them, to the judges over here, is very essential. So try to take care of it. IGBC team will tell you all the do's and don'ts of the presentation, all their requirements in a very clear and lucid way. You can get in touch with them anytime. You can get in touch with me if you have anything else to ask me about. But try to specify the cost and try to make your presentation as impressive as possible. So
Thank
that
you
was
so much.
yes, Ms.
Yeah,
Manisha. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, please tell.
Yeah. Is there any questions, students, parents, teachers, aspirants? You can ask me if you want.
If any of the participants would like to ask Ms. Neena any questions, you can definitely ask now. It's a very, great presentation, and you came up with very powerful green phases. In fact, the phases like divide to conquer, sink in, all these are like very impressive, in fact. So it's not about ideas, it's also about how to implement and how to showcase the implementations in a PPT is a very important thing. Definitely you and your students have done a very great job.
Thank you,
And
Ms.
the idea on resource management is also extremely good. And thank you so much. You have taken you considered space as an advantage. Having less space or more space is also an advantage. Yeah, definitely. It is an eye-opening for people to come out with more, innovative ideas of
Yes.
growing plants or, using the space that is whatever is available. It's not about the horizontal availability of space, even the vertical availability of space also matters a lot. That's what we are also trying to,
Agreed.
educate the society through all our 32 rating systems. Thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you,
Meena.
Ms.
And
Manish.
definitely now, if anyone would like to ask any questions with respect to the presentation given by Ms. Meena, you can definitely ask us now. Um, yes, Miss Jainam Sanjay. Someone had raised.
Uh,
their hand.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Good
yes, we
morning.
can hear you. Yes, please.
Amazing presentation to
Thank
begin
you.
with. Very well presented, and the ideas also very innovative. And
Thank
as
you.
Miss Manisha rightfully said, that you banked on and you took advantage on the less space, which is commendable. I wanted to ask that at what stage do they really check and judge you on the feasibility of implementation of the projects that you are suggesting through your PPT? Like, when does that come in? Like, do you highlight it through your pointers in your PPT that how you can make it feasible for implementation, what you're suggesting, or would that be in the later stage when you're selected?
Yeah, so we have at our level, we have tried our best to put everything in the presentation in a way that, we will be able to actually bring it to life. However, I have also seen that there were a few glitches, definitely. So we were in continuous touch with the IGBC team that this is the cost of implementation. This is a little more than what we thought. This is a little less than what we thought. Should we do this? Should we do that? So this was a continuous process. We tried our best to implement and understand this through our presentation, put it up that way. But the IGBC team was also continuously in touch with us after the grant to see how we could utilize the funds. So it was an ongoing process. I hope I've answered your question.
That answers my question.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Meena. I'll go ahead with the main topic of the day today.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Uh, so today in this webinar series, we are going to discuss on the sustainable landscape, sustainable planting techniques that you can implement in the school, and also importance of greenery, like an awareness session. So before we go to that, let me first introduce the rating system of IGBC, the Green School rating. So IGBC, part of CII, it had developed around 32 rating systems. Out of that, Green School rating system is one, which is completely to increase the number of green schools in India. So first of all, let us understand what is a green school. You have seen in Hina's presentation also that all these implementations are worthy enough to make sure that a school can go green, the ideas they came up with. But we had framed out the ideas or the applications in this rating system through which a normal school can become a green school. So you might ask me, what is the difference between a green school and a normal school? How does it differ in terms of aesthetics or in terms of for a visual sense, both look same, but it differ in the functionality. A green school differ in the functionality in terms of improving the quality of life, daylight ventilation, hygiene, drinking water, health and hygiene facilities, and definitely the energy savings, building performance, water savings, all this will come into picture. So first Let us understand what is a green school. A green school is one which addresses health and hygiene of the school, conserves natural resources, uses less water, optimizes energy efficiency, and generates less waste as compared to a conventional school. So the main mission of introducing this rating system is to facilitate transformation schools in India to green schools. So by these implementations that IGBC has framed out, your schools can become green schools. So, and one main idea of imparting this rating system into the schools is to basically to see the principles of green and principles of sustainable living and sustainable schools at a very tender age, at a very tender age to the students. So IGBC, as of till now, around 160 schools were certified by IGBC. These are few of the schools, and it has been launched in 2014 September. The main benefits of green and healthy schools, definitely it improves the performance, student performance, and also the building performance, pedagogy in science and art and education, and community. There will be a community belongingness. Like the students today, they get educated, they know the green techniques, and tomorrow they are going to, as a part of their growth, they are going to educate the society as well. And a responsibility towards environment, a responsibility towards the concerns the environment is facing, everything will be understood at a very young age. So the certification level is of four levels, like certified, silver, gold, and platinum. Certified for the best practices, silver for the outstanding performance, and gold for national excellence, and platinum for global leadership. So this particular rating system is both applicable for existing and new schools, whereas for the new schools, at least 95% of the construction has to be finished. So what are the main, if you just look at the holistic approach that Green School rating system is addressing, the main focus areas are site selection and planning, sustainable water practices, conserving and harvesting energy, eco-friendly school material, health and well-being of the students, indoor environmental quality, and definitely green education. In the previous webinars, we had already spoke, or like we already gave lectures, or we already talked on water conservation and awareness, waste management and awareness. And we also spoke about the energy conservation and awareness. So today we are speaking about the greenery and the importance of plantation in schools. So first of all, let me introduce, I'm an architect and also a landscape architect by specialization. So definitely this is an opportunity for me to, educate through IGBC, educate the society, educate the schools, or educate all the participants through IGBC. Mainly this webinar is a very special webinar to me. And I really feel happy to share all my thoughts and also about the knowledge about plantation in schools. So first of all, why should we plant trees? So definitely, the more than the basic needs, shade, food, and shelter, it gives the social cohesion. Agroforestry is definitely supported. It becomes a habitat corridor if we plant more trees. Definitely, if the trees act like a noise pollution barrier and air pollution barrier, they increase biodiversity by encouraging the supporting flora to support the fauna, and and vice versa. And recreation and health and well-being is definitely encouraged. Watershed protection. So all these lakes, all the water bodies, the edges are well protected. Even the water inside that is also well protected. And soil cohesion. So all these come into picture when we have to know that why should we plant more trees. So what type of plants do we need to plant? So that is also important. We cannot plant any plant and every plant, right? So there are certain requirements for the plant, for certain plants to be planted. So definitely native plants has to be encouraged, which got adapted to the existing conditions of that region. Evergreen and deciduous trees, because both has their own importance. Flowering, herbal, medicinal, and vegetable and fruit bearing trees, fruit bearing plants, and fragrance varieties. Certain species are like they really give good fragrance, and the pollen or the tree or the bark or the leaves, really give good fragrance. And insect repellent, grasses, shade-giving trees and shrubs. Grasses, again, the ground covers, climbers, creepers, windbreaks, and drought tolerant. So there are different ways how you can plant. And You also have to know what are non-native species and native species. So native species definitely are adapted. They have a tap rooting system. They're adapted to the soil conditions, moisture conditions, macro and microclimatical conditions, the flora of the region, the surrounding geographical and topographical conditions. So definitely native species are well encouraged, and drought tolerant species are also well encouraged as a part of a green sustainable landscapes. So now let us understand what is a sustainable landscape, and why, in what ways can we have a sustainable landscape in any school or in any project for that sake. So sustainable landscapes and awareness on greenery in schools. So first of all, why do we need sustainable landscapes? The landscapes with the sustainable landscapes definitely conserve the resource. They increase the biodiversity of that particular region. They're very good for soil health and conservation, and also for strong water management. So coming to the conservation of resources, sustainable landscapes aim to minimize the use of resources such as water and energy. So I was talking about drought tolerant species. I was also talking in the previous webinars when we were talking about water conservation, we were talking about effective irrigation systems. So one of the most common suitable landscape practices include efficient irrigation systems and the incorporation of strategic tree material in the design. So strategic tree material is about planting more of native species, drought tolerant species, and whatever we had spoke, like you coming up with strategies of planting shade giving trees, flowering trees, shrubs which encourage more flowers and more shade loving. So this is called a strategic planting. And the use of drought tolerant species will definitely cut off the water. So if we just see here, the green cover on site can definitely help to maintain the ecology and the microclimate. So native trees, shrubs, and grasses has to be planted. Fruit-bearing trees has to be planted in the projects. And boundary vegetation is definitely important. It gives shade along the walkways, and also it gives an avenue look. It gives privacy. And at the same time, in areas mainly in the sea coast or the areas where there is heavy wind flow, definitely the boundary vegetation acts like a windbreak. And management of irrigation techniques, as I had already told you, sprinklers for turf and turf areas has to be given, and separation of planting zones based on water requirements. So certain plant species need more water, where you can stagnate the water, and that water can be used only by those plant species. Whereas certain plant species doesn't need more water, so you can bifurcate that zone. And drip irrigation system definitely saves a lot of water, and central shut-off wall definitely help in conserving water and timely usage of water. And xeriscaping is a landscaping technique. So this is one of the techniques where more drought-tolerant species are encouraged to be planted, and where water conservation is a main goal. So xeriscaping is a landscaping technique that reduces the need for irrigation and uses water conserving techniques by planting drought-tolerant plant species. So these are few examples of xeriscaping. They can be beautifully done. They can be, even if you are planting, you can come up with drought tolerant species that can flower, that might not fruit, and there might be very less chances for fruiting and vegetable, but definitely xeriscaping you will come up with certain plant species which do flower a lot, and grasses which change the tint over the seasons. And biodiversity is definitely important. Biodiversity in environmentally friendly landscapes is, it's a must, in fact. Attracting native wildlife is important, and tree plays a big role in restoring and protecting natural biohabitats. So to conserve the natural habitats, we definitely have to encourage the biodiversity, and for that sake, the fauna that are supporting the flora, and the flora that support the fauna, like migratory birds, bees, butterflies, squirrels, because there's a dependency of both fauna on flora and flora on fauna. So definitely one has to understand this, and the same should be taught in the schools as well. So choosing native trees also helps control pests as a part of it in natural manner, as predatory insects, birds, bats, in fact, snakes and other native species feed on pests, and therefore reducing the need for chemical pesticides in landscaping and promoting a healthier environment. Native plants are very important for migratory birds, as we already know, because they provide food, shelter, and other benefits. So, they for their survival during the migration, and they also help them during their reproduction. And native trees also add visually interesting. They're very, natural to that region. They're very visually adaptive to that region. They create visual interest and attract birds, butterflies, and other wildlife as well. So definitely, we have to plant more trees, not just to, get some oxygen to the humans, but also to the rest of the living beings as well. So coming to the soil health and conservation, um, sustainable landscapes prioritize healthy soil by using organic and sustainable soil management practices. Sustainable landscapes definitely need a very, like, one who is maintaining a sustainable landscape or even a normal landscape. They should have a good idea on soil and the management practices. They should have the idea on different types of soil, the amount of moisture required for the soil, the associated with the plant. So this idea is a must. And practices like composting, mulching, natural fertilizers are crucial as they improve nutrient cycling, strengthen soil structure, and reduce erosion. So soil management is also vital for successful gardening, and understanding the soil conditions in your area is essential. And arrest or reduce soil erosion. Soil erosion is one of the major problems. So whenever there are rains, whenever it rains in, from the higher elevated areas, the water just flows, the runoff just takes off all the sediments from the soil, and that might cause a lot of nutrient loss in that area, where the trees might end up dying after the monsoons. So definitely, idea on soil erosion, the techniques for the soil to eradicate or to reduce soil erosion is definitely important. Where the roots of one should have the idea of the roots of certain plants that can actually hold up the soil and can stop soil erosion. So arrest or reduce soil erosion, where the roots of a plant help to hold the soil firmly, thus not letting soil erode away from the root stream of water flows through them. The roots hold the soil tightly. So composting, mulching, and using fertilizers, using the right organic fertilizers is important as a part of sustainable landscapes. So the irony of it is, whatever plant waste that is generating itself can be used as a compost. So mulching definitely retains the moisture, it increases the soil fertility, and it increases it increases the soil, the quality of the soil microbes. So, and it's very important for, to mulch to use the mulch for the composting. So if you just see here, the image towards the left side, this is just a section or a small section for you to understand how tightly the tiny grass that's looking above the ground line can have a very, since it's a native grass of that area, it has a very, tap-rooted root material that is actually holding up the soil in the underlying areas. And the image towards the right, actually in certain areas, like where very heavy hilly slopes are there, you can come up with contour bunds or terrace. Even in terrace farming, they come up with contour bunds. So this is one way of it, reducing the soil erosion. And coming to stormwater management, definitely this is one of the important things that every sustainable landscape needs. So sustainable management techniques used in sustainable gardens designs control water management, control stormwater runoff and prevent pollution. So what happens is, when the stormwater runs out from the site, it takes off the soil sediments, that is one loss. And also it takes off the, waste, and it definitely pollutes the water bodies, nearby, or the low-lying water bodies and the catchments. So we have to make sure that the rainwater has to be used at our site. For that, definitely water conservation is definitely needed as a part of one should come up with, the project should come up with rainwater harvesting pits and percolation pits, and definitely, rainwater storage tanks and all. Other than that, one can come up with permeable paving materials, rain gardens, bioswales, and retention ponds, and in certain cases, even detention ponds are effective in catching and filtering the rainwater. So it's a project's responsibility to hold up the rainwater as much as possible and recharge the groundwater. Along with that, as a part of it, they have to support the ecosystem through, percolation. And roots also play a significant role in controlling stormwater runoff by storing and absorbing water like natural sponges. As I told in as I had shown in the previous image, the roots are actually acting like a natural sponge to hold up the water, and the excess water can be percolated or infiltrated into the ground layers. And trees also contribute to the stormwater management through evapotranspiration. And additionally, roots attach themselves and build a network that connects soil particles. So this is called root network, the root communication, what we say. So that is why, in fact, forests or the urban forestries or the areas with larger, green cover hold up like with the root connection, root network, they act like natural sponges and definitely help for the, stormwater to run off from that area. And thereby helping in soil stabilization, limiting soil loss, sedimentation in water bodies, and reducing erosion caused by water runoff. Acting as natural filters, improving water quality, and reducing the impact of urban runoff on downstream ecosystems. So if you just see the image towards here, these are called the grass pavers, which actually percolate the water underneath, and we have rain gardens as well. As I told you, this is how a rain garden work. And these are bioswales, where a swale is nothing but a water channel that collects the water from the higher slopes, and it channelizes the water to the nearby sheds. So the bioswale is something, it basically have the grasses, along its edge, or the trees in between, that can support, that can absorb more water, for its growth, and definitely provide biodiversity as a part of water channelizing. So if you just see the how it works, the bio retention swale is over here. This is the swale. This is the swale, and the perforated pipe is kept beneath, and a gravel base is kept above that, and it is filled with bio retention soil, and above that they keep the mulching, or they keep the stones. The stones that you see here basically provide oxidation for the flowing water, to make sure that the water oxygen levels are maintained. So it's a natural process. The creation, which can, over the time, it can become natural, and it can in fact support many grasses that can flower, and also support other fauna. And a retention pond, you can come up with a retention pond where water can be, stored for a certain period of time, all the storm water can be drained up, it can be, stored up for, and which is not of a very huge depth, maybe 1 to 2 feet or maximum 3 feet. So there will be an inflow, and there will be a outflow. Between is the water retention point. So again, it is lined up with many, water supporting water, the aqua plants, and also the aqua fishes and all. And how trees prevent water pollution? Definitely, trees definitely reduce the water pollution by absorbing the water, by making the water infiltrate into the ground aquifers, or the groundwater recharge points and all. So trees improve water quality by capturing rainfall and gradually release it, so that it contributes less flow and pollutants in the downstream. And tree canopy intercepts raindrops and prevents erosion. So definitely that's important. It reduces the flow. So when the rainwater comes up with so much force onto the ground, when there's no obstruction, it definitely disturbs the soil particles. But whereas if a tree canopy is there, the intensity is reduced and the water goes through the tree than hitting the earth direct, like the land directly. And tree roots and leaf litter promote slow absorption of water back into the ground and precipitation through fall, and a reduced volume of water runoff reduces erosion and also pollutants that are shifted from the top layer to the downstream, in fact. And definitely the one additional point which I would like to say is, as a part of sustainable landscapes, you have seen many ways how you can make a landscape sustainable. But other than that, the students should be taught with newer techniques like hydroponics, various types of propagation techniques, and also growing plants in indoor areas with the artificial light or solar powered light. So definitely these newer technologies should emerge. Many newer technologies had emerged, and they should be part and parcel of their, labs or experimental studies as well. So coming to the vegetation, greenery, landscape ideas that from the winning schools, if we just see, DePaul School in Kolkata, if we just see, they came up with an idea of green and clean transformation training camps. So they came up with a training camp as a part of their green education in this scenario, and they came up with rooftop garden, and they also proposed what kind of material can be planted, how much time will it take, and also they came up with um, how to green up their space through this idea. And Bal Bharati Indraprasthi Yojana, Ghaziabad, they came up with Grow Me pencils. So they add the seeds to the pencils. They make the pencils from recycled paper and craft cardboard, and they add seeds, rice starch capsule into it. So once the pencil is used, it can be planted, and they just have to water. So the rice starch capsule will get dissolved, and the seeds will be grown in as plants tomorrow. And from Dalmia Mandir, from Dalmia Vidya Mandir, Dalmiapuram from Tamil Nadu, they came up with very good ideas. In fact, I was very, impressed with the kind of ideas they came up with. They gave a proposal for, planting native plants. They came up with the objective. They came up with the materials required, that is the plant species which are native. They came up with sapling requirement, seed requirement, and they came up with a proposal plan to come up with a school garden and an urban land. And to plant, certain species at certain areas, and they also came up with seed bombs or seed balls, saplings, and all. And the approximate budget required for this particular idea implementation. And not just the plantation, but they also came up with the idea of after plantation, whatever waste that is collected, like fruit waste, flower waste, or the leaf waste that comes up, they try to use it. They came up with an idea of recycling flowering waste as a mosquito repellent. So for that, the main objective is to basically to encourage materials which use native, natural materials to make the insect repellents. And they came up with the methodology, the preparation for 100 sticks, and also vertical garden. They came up with the idea of vertical garden through bamboo sticks and use the vertical. And in fact, these vertical screens that they're using can also used as a shading devices for areas where they're getting high sunlight. And the materials used and the methodology and the budget required they came up with, which is definitely worth presenting today, and benefits for students and society. So apart from that, they came up with the what are the benefits that every implementation can add up to. So maintaining ambient temperature, health and well-being for the students, absenteeism of the student will be decreased. So this is very impressive. Because if a vertical wall is there, so that definitely takes up their attraction. It attracts them attention, in fact. So absenteeism of student will be decreased, which is a very common thing in kids, in fact. And protect from UV rays. It gives the required oxygen. Absorbs 35% of the carbon dioxide in the space. In fact, making sure that the air is purified all the time, and that's very impressive. And One second. And there's one more school who came up with the idea of a herbal garden with the, with the idea, benefit of it, and again the costing along with the time. And they came up with the idea of composting, compost pit using the plant waste that is generated within the school campus and self-watering plants. So moisture detention and self-watering model in a they came up with the idea of moisture detention and self-watering plant in a eco-friendly marvel. So they came up with hydroponic proposed and hydroponic, the idea of proposing a hydroponic lab or a hydroponic stand within the school for them to grow certain vegetables and certain flowering plants and all, and tank side. So you making their own pesticides within, to revitalize waste management and sanitation practices. So it's a part and parcel of the education, which is very quite impressive and it's most needed. So most of the urban kids, I feel that they have very less knowledge towards plantation. They have very less knowledge towards planting and, the how the basic, agricultural or the basic crop propagation techniques and all. Definitely, they should be taught as a part of the curriculum or as a part of the activity in the schools. And as a part of green education, definitely teachers play a major role, which everyone have to accept. They play the major role as equal to that of as a parent. And how much a home teaches, a school teaches more than that, in fact, because they spend most of their active time, 8 to 9 hours of time in a school, and then they go home. Their active time is, in fact, in the school, the students. So definitely teachers and the administration, school administration have to take active part in, promoting green education. For today, since we're talking about greenery in schools, definitely the school had to come up with more plantation drives, more social engaging activities like painting competition, elocution competition, and they should come up with skits. And before doing that, even the student should have a basic idea of, what type of plants they have to plant, what can they grow, what are edible, what are flowering. So some ideas has to be given from their end also. So it's not like I just planted some seeds, I just planted some saplings, I just have to water and put some compost and the tree is going to grow. No, they should have an idea of what are herbal plants, what are medicinal plants, what are shade giving plants, and what plants can purify dust and, purify air and purify water. What are, definitely this idea is the knowledge on this has to be imparted at a very young age. And at the same time, various propagation techniques, various composting techniques has to be part of their learning when they are doing this. So one day in a week should be, at least a half day in a week should be completely for the planting. And first, they should know that they have to plant more trees or green up their campus and green up their homes in whatever space available. So there might not be horizontal space available, but vertical space definitely available. So these are, and they should educate the society as well as a part of it. And this one school which came up with a nice, garden, nice vegetable garden within their campus. A few schools are coming up with skits, they being the trees and how they feel when deforestation happens. And these are some of the examples of schools having their own garden and coming up with microgreens. And they should also have the idea of soil erosion, grasses which can reduce soil erosion, what is a chemical soil, organic soil, and they should also have how a treated and untreated soil helps the, how far they can help. And they also should know the types of plants and activities associated with the types of plants, types of tree material can definitely encourage the kids to know, to get that interest, how to what they're planting, how they're planting. The knowledge is definitely important. And organize a plant day. These are few of the green education ideas. Organize a plant day once a week to know about at least three plant or tree or grass varieties along with its importance. Raise awareness on home, roof, terrace, vertical and kitchen gardening. And plan a trip to a nursery, park, or a botanical park and ask the students to share their knowledge and experiences. Flora fauna interactions and dependencies, definitely. And plantation drives, skits, elocutions, quizzes, and debates are definitely part of most of the schools, but try to increase more of that, and encourage the students to come up with ideas associated with irrigation techniques, plant propagation, cropping, plant growing techniques, composting, plantation designs, etc. Raise awareness on native, drought-tolerant, invasive, exotic, poisonous, medicinal, edible, flowering, fragrance, and water plants, definitely. Thank you so much. So myself and Lubna are taking care of the green school rating system, and also the from IGBC, and also the IGBC Green Your School program. So you can contact us anytime. Now, Ms. Zoya Khan from United Way Delhi will be giving an idea through her presentation on IGBC Green Your School program 2024. And I request Zoya to share the screen.
Hi, Manisha. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. So today I will present about the IGBC Green Year School program. I will let you go through the PPT. What is this program is about, how you can register and how you can participate in this program. So IGBC Green Your School program is an annual program open to schools across all over India. Through this program, we encourage school to come up with the innovative and sustainable ideas to transform their existing building into the school campuses. Our overall aim is to reduce the carbon footprint and educate students on carbon eco-friendly practices. So our main objective of this through this program is to instill the eco-sensitivity behavior in the daily lifestyle of the children, to spread about the education awareness, to launch and enable as many sustainable building as much we can through this program. So the vision of this Green IGBC Green Year School program is to enable the majority of schools in India to convert into the green school by 2025. This contest is being held from since last 18 years with the support of Career India in association with United Way Delhi and IGPC. This program is applicable across India, whether the school is the government school, the private school. This is applicable for all. What you need to do is form a green your space team. In the team, you need student from 7th to 9th standard and one teacher. So basically, you need 3 student and one teacher from each school. This is our website where you can just go on the green just you need to go on the Google and type Green Your School and you can see our website. Here there's a pop-up window, register now. You can click on that and there you will find a registration form to register for this program. What you need to submit through this program is, for this year you need to submit 5 sustainable and health well-being ideas. Our methodology is like, first we circulate the information to all the school that the Green Year School program is open for this year. Then after you got the intimation or you got the information that this program is open, you can register your school through our website. Once you register and complete your registration, then you need to develop the ideas, which is 5 sustainable and health well-being ideas for this year. And then you need to upload that presentation. Once you upload the presentation, then our team starts shortlisting the schools out of the n number of registrations submissions we get. And then we had a pre-jury where we finalized top 20 schools. After the pre-jury, we had a jury. In that we finalized top 8 schools, and then we invite top 3 school for the final presentation. Only top 3 school will be invited for the presentation offline, and then we do the award distribution. Again, the methodology is a school need to form a team of 3 student and 1 teacher. They need to propose the ideas, 5 sustainable and well-being. The compilation of your PPT should be like that. You need to describe the proposal very briefly and very nicely. The proposal should have the benefit to the school and approximate budget. These 3 things should be there in the PPT. Our evaluation criteria is we judge on the basis of practicality in implementation, innovation of the idea, benefit to the school and society, and how much education and awareness the student will go through this idea. And the marks and the weightage is given if you can. Awards. Top three schools will get the grant of 3 lakh and trophy and the certificate, and top five will get the grant of 2.25 lakh and the certificate to implement the ideas. These are some of the implemented idea by the schools so far. Some of the recommended ideas to make your existing school greener, like you can propose idea on energy efficiency, water conservation, waste reduction, green landscaping, sustainable transportation, and curriculum integration. Like Manisha has told you about the water conservation, waste rejection so far, energy efficiency. In every webinar, we try to give you some of the ideas, some of the example, how you can propose those ideas and implement those in your schools. So for this year, we have the registration and submission deadline till 10th of October. You can register and submit your ideas till 10th of October. And if you guys have any question or any query regarding this program, the floor is open. You all can ask any question to me or the Manisha here.
Yeah, if anyone are having any questions, you can definitely ask us. I hope the sessions are very much helpful to all the participating schools and the webinar participants. Yes, Himanjali. Um, yes, Miss Himanjali. Miss Himanjali. If you're not,
Shweta,
yeah, Miss Shweta.
Good afternoon, ma'am. This is Himanjali from Heaven. Ma'am, I have
Hi.
a question. If a child I have registered already, but the child is not well, can we give another child's name for the registration now?
yes, ma'am. You can edit the name in the once you will log into your profile. You can edit the name. If that is not possible, if you are in the top three and you have to come physically for the presentation, then you can tell us a day before through the email, or like you can intimate us that this child will not be able to join, and then you can uh, like
Give another
nominate
name.
some other child in place. Yeah, you can nominate some
Okay.
other child.
Okay. Okay. One more question, ma'am. As you have said that if you want to add a video on the PPT, it should be a link should be provided for that. It should be in the YouTube and the link should be given in the PPT. But what I want to ask is that if the video is less than a minute, let's say 30 seconds or something, can we put it in the PPT directly?
You can put that in a PPT, but what we need from the PPT is like, see, there will be the judges and the pre-jury member and the jury member. They will be evaluating those ideas. So
Okay.
the uh, like if you will add the video in that, that will be like very tedious process for the judges to evaluate on the basis of that. It will be great if you can just write
Put some
the
pictures.
ideas, yeah, through some
Okay.
picture. If you can just explore some pictures through that, that will be easy for the evaluation.
Okay. Got it, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, Shweta. Miss Shweta. Yes.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so my question was, you mentioned 5 to 6 ideas, okay? So we were thinking to submit the ideas which are quite suitable for our school and needed for our school. So is that okay? Or should we stick to the topic that you have suggested in these 5 to 6 ideas?
The ideas that you are presenting should be with respect to the your school only. It should be with respect to your school. So whatever you're doing is right.
Okay.
There's one more question in the chat box. Good morning, ma'am. I'm from Kennedy High, the global school. What about the forms 12A and 80G? Is it compulsory to submit them? Zoya, can you help me with this?
Just a second. Let me go through the question. Yeah. So basically, if you are the top 8 schools, so then to disburse the grant amount to you, we need few of the documents from the school and to do the due diligence of the school. So these are the documents which we will be needing to disburse the grant. So 12A and ATG certificate are for those to whose schools can receive the CSR grant. So that these documents are mandatory if you are the top 8 finalists to disburse the grant, not for the registration and submission. These are mandatory for the winners. So we will be needing that in the later stage.
So Bhavna, architect, have missed the first presentation today. Is there some way I can access the content? We are uploading the webinars in the YouTube, webinar videos in the YouTube. So lately, by maximum by tomorrow, it will be uploaded in the video in the YouTube. You can definitely access that. Mr. Kavish, if you have any question, you can ask this.
I wanted to ask, in the last PPT, you had said that we have to submit the PPT by 10th of October. So
Yes.
is it 10th of October, or do we have to submit the PPT with the ideas a bit later?
The PPT should consist all the ideas.
And that has to come by 10th of October, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions? Anyone? You can definitely ask us now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Hina, for being today. Sorry, there's one more question, I think. Yes, Soumya Pona.
Ma'am, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Just I have mentioned my question in the chat box also. Like, is it mandatory that the PPT should have an audio narration also of explanation of the slides, or if all the explanation is in the presentation directly, is it enough? Background in the background.
The presentations need it's not the audio explanation is not required. The explanation itself should be self-explanatory. The presentation itself should be explanatory. That's it.
Yes, if it is in that case, that's okay, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ms. Nina. Your
thank you.
presentation definitely gave the participants an idea, mainly for the schools who are participating for the first time in this program. Definitely, it's a first step for them to understand how to work on a presentation. And in fact, your presentation is very amazing as well. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Zoya, for giving the
Thank
idea
you.
on the entire program.
Thank you, Ms.
Um,
Hina.
Yes, thank you, Zoya.
And
I hope you're
Manisha.
doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Thank you.
How are you?
And we encourage all the students, we encourage all the schools to, come up with more ideas that, this session had shared with you, and definitely understand how the process is, what Zoya had given, definitely. And October 10th is the last submission date, but we encourage the schools to submit even before. That would be very much,
Because site will be heavy at that time.
Yes.
It will be difficult to upload the presentation. Also, I would request all the registered schools to please submit the ideas, because the registration will not be of any use if you will not submit the ideas.
Yeah, register as soon as possible in case if anyone didn't register, and also submit the presentation at the earliest, because later on there might be technical glitches, and also avoid all that last minute technical glitches. It is always advised to submit the presentation at the earliest, like at least 3-4 days or 4-5 days ahead, in fact.
Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this webinar and making it successful. The next webinar is on next Tuesday, that is October 8th. We'll come up with one more topic, definitely, that can help you and guide you better. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you.